Hello everybody, let's demonstrate how to bend the gunmetal wire. Here is an activation for extrusion. So always when you go to extrude, you have to bend backward like this, or using a burr beak plier. And this way you turn it distally and you have extrusion of the posterior step. So you can see now that there's an extrusion there. So the next step would be now to make it even in parallel to the meso step. So as you can see now, we use your fingers and using the burr beak now to keep it parallel each other. So now I have a step down distally to the canine. So this is now, as you can see, the whole posterior segment is basically extruded and a little bit more on bicuspid segment, like this. So we do this when we desire extrusion activations. So in here, again to the other side so you guys can see twice. A little bit quicker, so it's a basically simple activation and very easy to perform. So you have to take this in consideration using the burr beak and always controlling the torque and also the coordination of the wire. In this area, if you want to extrude as well to keep the whole segment even, you can just do also posterior band facing distally, and you control the amount of turning of this loop in order to keep it straight and even to the anterior portion, bicuspid portion in this case. So they have now bicuspids and molars fully extruded in the same amount with just a little tip back on second molar. And the other side, same activation, but it's a different way, so you can see twice, like this. So now the whole posterior segment are in the same amount of extrusion. So sometimes, depending on the case, you can extrude bicuspid segment only, and also you can just make the whole posterior bicuspids and molars fully extruded as in the same amount, in the same quantity. In here, we can activate, as you guys can see, another step between canine and bicuspids. So it's always depending on your diagnostics, depending on your treatment plan, you can progressively activate extrusions in order to obtain the amount of vertical control you desire. In here, you can see now we have a step between lateral and canine, another step between canine and the posterior segment. Depending on the case, you can do asymmetrically left and right side in order to obtain also a symmetric control of your case. In here, you can use the gun metal plier number 1, and as you can see, in order to activate offsets, as we're going to demonstrate in a few seconds. Here, the wire was pre-bent with the gunmetal plier number 1, which is very useful plier in order to obtain very symmetric loops. So it's very important to keep the symmetry and the height of the loops on the same height to make it easier to activate later on. You can either use this plier, the Gummetal plier number 1, to do this offset, but you can also use Nance plier. Nance plier is very useful as well. So hold the loop, taking care that both anterior post and posterior post of the loop are being grabbed together. So now you push with your fingers out like this, in the posterior area inside. So in this way you can have an offset. A little bit exaggerated in this case just to make it clear for you guys to observe. So you can make it, of course, a little bit lighter than this. You can adjust, you can undo in order to get the final result as you desire. Another one, just to do it again, you guys can observe this. So this is now between lateral and canine offset, and the previous one was between first and second molar. As you can see now, we can do offsets on the wire. So this is a very useful activation to make it all your final arch, the ideal arch finishing. Adjust the occlusion at the end. This kind of activation is very important. So you can use a symmetric chart like this, or anyone that you can have in your office, to coordinate and make it now arch shape, perfectly symmetric. This is very important final checkup of your symmetry. So in this case, we need to close a little bit the arch to make it left and right sides symmetric. You can either use here a De La Rosa contouring plier, or you can do gently using a barbic, for example, or the gunmetal plier, doing very gentle curves and bends in the wire. So it's just easier if you do with the De La Rosa contouring plier. Adjust the torque, it's very important as well. And you can use either the Nance plier or the Gummetal plier like this in order to adjust or activate torque. Either positive or negative torque. You can do the whole posterior segment in the same amount, or progressive torque, or even do individual torques in every single tooth depending on the case, and you can activate accordingly. So Gummetal plier is a very useful alloy in order to control your cases in multi-loops and vertical control, and do all the results that you desire, and especially class 3s, class 2s. It's a very useful alloy because they deliver constant and light forces all the time, and very easy to bend. So it's a modern alloy for your vertical cases control. Thank you very much for being with me, and let's see you next videos in the future. Bye bye.